Giving feedback. As a project leader, one of your most significant tasks is to provide feedback to your team. They need to know what they are doing well and what they could do better. Feedback is needed on team members who are relatively inexperienced or new to the project or organization, but also team members who are experienced and doing well need to know that their contributions are being appreciated. Feedback is a two-way process. As you give feedback to your team, you should also keep an open mind to receive feedback from the team. Giving and receiving feedback is valuable for many reasons. It reinforces effective ways of working, redirects behavior, prepares for better performance, and contributes to learning. There are two types of feedback. Positive feedback is to reinforce preferred behaviors. Corrective feedback is to change and improve unsatisfactory behavior. Your team will be more receptive to your corrective feedback if they also been accustomed to your positive feedback. It shows that you are truly trying to work towards improvement. Feedback should not be limited only to correct mistakes or wrong behaviors. It is important to give feedback when a team member does something good too. After all, everyone likes to feel important, valued, and appreciated. Too often, feedback ends up being primarily about critique. There is actually considerable research showing that the best performance is encouraged by a ratio of a meaning of 4 affirming positive feedback for every one piece of corrective feedback. The majority of your feedback should be pointed at what is working, but don't shy away from proactively addressing what needs improvement. If you're not hitting the magic 4-to-1 ratio, you probably need to be given more positive feedback. Determining when to give feedback can be difficult, but it's usually best to give feedback in a timely manner. This is especially true of behavior or performance feedback. If a person or team completed a task and asked it is important to let them know that their effort is noticed in order to encourage the behavior to continue. On the other side, if a person or team is exhibiting poor behavior or performance, it is important to inform them of the disapproval and encourage them to improve the behavior. This is especially important in teams as the behavior and performance of one can snowball into a larger problem if it's not addressed early on. Remember that regular feedback is important. This is not a once a year or once every 6 months event. Informal, simple feedback should be given much more often, perhaps every week or even every day depending on the situation. When it's time to give feedback to your team, you need to prepare for the meeting and get all the information you need. For example, the task assigned and the expected performance. Consider the context, the situations of the work, and the experience of the team member you are giving feedback. Was the assignment a stretch assignment? During this session, it's important that you control your emotions. It's not about focusing on problems. It's not about personalities or behavior. It's about learning and changing. Finally, it has to be a positive experience for you and your team member. Once you both have agreed on the action plan to make the changes, it's important that you set a time for a follow-up. Just as you give feedback, it's also important that you receive feedback, especially when it's something you don't want to hear. Be open to feedback. It's a great opportunity to reflect on your own actions and demonstrate that feedback is important. Don't feel defensive. It's a natural feel to feel that way. You might feel threatened, like most professional people that pride on their work. Open your mind to change. Feedback from peers and colleagues is an acknowledgement that you can learn from mistakes and that you want to learn. Learning is a continuous process for a leader. Developing your skill in the art of feedback is one of the most important investments you can make in your success as a leader. Giving feedback can only work if it's done correctly. Otherwise, it can create a culture of resentment, disrespect, and anger, which leads to low morale, low motivation, and poor performance. Always remember that giving your team feedback is not only essential to the success of the project, but also for their career and growth progress.